Right now, there are three 4x4s sitting on used lots across the country, priced under $5,000, that dealers are practically losing sleep trying to get rid of. Not because they're junk, but because they're so good they'll never bring a customer back for another car. These things will outlive you, your kids, and probably whatever's left of your retirement plan. Dealers don't want you to know about them, but I'm not a dealer, so let's ruin their day. All right. Our first bulletproof Goldmine might just be the most boring-looking vehicle on this entire list. And I mean that as the highest compliment a car can receive. Because while every other SUV from this era was busy trying to look tough or sporty or whatever, the third-generation Honda CR-V was quietly doing something way more impressive. It was refusing to die. We're talking about the 2010 to 2013 model years here, and if you've never given this thing a serious look, I need you to pay very close attention, because what I'm about to tell you might just save you thousands of dollars and decades of headaches. So here's the deal. Under the hood of every single one of these CR-Vs sits Honda's legendary K24 engine. Now, if you're not a car person, that name means nothing to you, but if you are a car person, you just sat up a little straighter in your chair. The K24 is a 2.4-liter four-cylinder that Honda engineers basically designed as a love letter to reliability. This is the same engine family that powered everything from Accords to race-prep track cars, and there's a very good reason for that. This thing is absurdly over-engineered for what it needs to do. We're talking about an engine that will comfortably cruise past 300,000 miles if you just do the bare minimum. Oil changes, filters, and maybe talk nicely to it once in a while. That's it. That's the whole maintenance plan. Meanwhile, your neighbor's fancy European crossover is at the shop for the fourth time this year getting a new turbo gasket or whatever they invented to keep mechanics employed. Now, the rear-wheel drive system on this CR-V is something people seriously underestimate. Honda called it real-time AWD, and while it's not going to turn you into some off-road warrior conquering the Rubicon Trail, it is incredibly smart for what it does. The system sends power to the rear wheels the instant it detects front wheel slip, and it does this so seamlessly that most drivers don't even realize it's happening. For snow, mud, gravel roads, heavy rain, basically everything a retiree or anyone with common sense would actually encounter in real life, this system is more than enough. You don't need a lifted truck with 37-inch tires to get to the grocery store in January. You need a CR-V and a cup of coffee. And let's talk about something people rarely mention. The interior space in this thing is genuinely clever. Honda gave the rear seats the ability to fold completely flat, and I mean flat, not that weird hump in the middle flat that most SUVs pretend is good enough. You could practically sleep in the back of this thing. Some people literally do. There's a whole community of CR-V campers out there, and honestly, after seeing some of their setups, I'm not even judging anymore. I'm impressed. The cargo area is massive for a vehicle this size. The rear seats flip up if you need to haul something tall, and everything about the layout just screams, we actually thought about how people use cars, instead of we added 17 cup holders and called it innovation. Fuel economy? You're looking at roughly 22 in the city and 28 to 30 on the highway, depending on the model year and whether you've got the two-wheel drive or all-wheel drive version. For a vehicle that gives you this much space, this much capability, and this much peace of mind, those numbers are genuinely impressive. You're not going to be crying at the gas pump every week, and that matters a lot more when you're on a fixed income or just trying to be smart with your money. Now, before you run out the door and buy the first CR-V you find on Craigslist, let me save you from yourself for a second, because there are things you need to watch out for. Number one, and this is the big one, the automatic transmission on certain 2010 and 2011 models can be a little temperamental. Some owners reported shuddering or hesitation during shifts, especially between third and fourth gear. It's not a death sentence for the car, but it is something you want to test thoroughly during your drive. If you feel any vibration or jerking when it shifts, walk away. There are plenty of clean ones out there. Number two, the AC compressor on these models is known to fail somewhere around the 100 to 150,000 mile mark. Now, replacing it isn't the end of the world. We're talking maybe $500 to $800 at an independent shop, but you want to know about it before you buy, not after, when you're sweating through your shirt in a parking lot in August. And number three, check the valve cover gasket. On higher mileage examples, oil can start seeping from the top of the engine. It's a cheap fix, maybe $100 or so, but if the previous owner ignored it, that oil drip can make a mess of other components underneath. Here's the beautiful thing though, and this is why this car is #1 on our list. Even with all of those checkpoints, we're talking about minor, inexpensive issues on a vehicle that will otherwise run forever. You can find clean, well-maintained examples of the 2010 to 2013 CR-V right now, today, for $3,000 to $5,000, depending on mileage and condition. That is an absurd amount of value. Dealers don't make money when a car lasts 15 years without problems. They make money when you come back. And the CR-V? The CR-V doesn't bring anyone back. It just keeps going. But this is only #1, and honestly, the next vehicle on this list might shock you even more. Stick around.
Now, if the CR-V was the quiet kid in class who aced every test without studying, the next vehicle on our list is the one who showed up to school covered in mud, smelling like pine trees, and somehow still aced the test. I'm talking about the 2010 to 2012 Subaru Forester, and if you just rolled your eyes, I need you to stop, rewind that reaction, and give me exactly 4 minutes, because this car has a secret that the entire automotive industry wishes you'd forget about. See, most people hear Subaru and they immediately picture one of two things, either a WRX with a giant wing driven by someone who thinks every road is a rally stage, or a Forester covered in bumper stickers parked outside a farmer's market. And honestly, both of those stereotypes exist for a reason. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Behind all the jokes, behind all the memes, Subaru accidentally built one of the most capable and reliable small SUVs ever to roll off an assembly line. And they did it so well that they basically created a cult following of people who will never buy anything else. There's a reason you see Foresters with 300,000 miles on them still running around like nothing happened. And that reason starts with 4 letters: Boxer. The 2010 to 2012 Forester comes equipped with Subaru's 2.5-liter horizontally opposed 4-cylinder engine, also known as a boxer engine. Now, why does that matter? Because unlike a traditional inline engine where all the pistons are pumping up and down in a vertical line, a boxer engine lays them flat, 2 on each side punching toward each other like a fist fight in slow motion. This design does 2 incredible things. First, it lowers the center of gravity dramatically, which means this boxy little SUV handles corners better than it has any right to. And second, it creates naturally balanced forces inside the engine, which means less vibration, less wear on internal components, and a smoother, longer life overall. Engineering nerds love this layout. Your wallet loves it even more. But here's where the Forester starts to separate itself from everything else on this list: the all-wheel drive system. And I don't mean part-time or kicks in when it feels like it all-wheel drive. Every single Forester from this generation comes with Subaru's symmetrical, full-time all-wheel drive system as standard. Not an option, not a package, standard. All 4 wheels are receiving power all the time through a system that is perfectly balanced left to right along the center of the vehicle. This is the kind of setup that makes ski towns, mountain roads, and unpaved backcountry feel like a Sunday drive. Snow that would have a regular crossover sliding into a ditch, the Forester just shrugs it off and keeps moving. I've heard mechanics say they've seen Foresters go places that made them question whether the owner was brave or just completely unaware of danger. Either way, the car handled it. And the visibility in this thing. Oh, this is one of my favorite details. The 2010 to 2012 Forester has some of the biggest greenhouse windows of any SUV from that era. Huge glass area, thin pillars, and a seating position that gives you a nearly panoramic view of everything around you. It's like driving a fishbowl, but in the best possible way. For anyone who's ever struggled with blind spots in a modern SUV where the windows keep getting smaller every year because design apparently means can't see anything, the Forester is a breath of fresh air. You can actually see out of this car. Revolutionary concept, I know. Now, interior space. The Forester might look modest from the outside, but inside it's deceptively roomy. Rear passengers get legitimate legroom, not the, well, it's fine if you don't have legs kind of legroom, but actual real human space. The cargo area behind the rear seats swallows luggage, camping gear, dog crates, furniture from estate sales, you name it. And with the rear seats folded, you're looking at nearly 70 cubic feet of cargo space. That's more than some vehicles that cost 5 times as much. Subaru understood that people who buy Foresters actually use their cars, and they built every inch of this thing to reflect that. Fuel economy is reasonable too. You're looking at roughly 21 in the city and 27 on the highway for the naturally aspirated version. Not class-leading, but perfectly acceptable for a vehicle with full-time all-wheel drive that weighs about 3,300 pounds. You're paying a tiny fuel penalty for a massive capability gain, and for most people, that math works out beautifully. Alright, now here's the part where I keep it real with you because I genuinely want you to make a smart purchase. The 2010 to 2012 Forester has one issue that you absolutely must be aware of before you hand over a single dollar, and it's the head gaskets. I know, if you've ever Googled Subaru problems, this is probably the first thing that came up. The 2.5-liter Baxter engine in this generation can develop external head gasket leaks over time, typically somewhere between 80 and 150,000 miles. Now, here's the nuance most people miss. Not every Forester will have this problem, and Subaru actually revised the gasket material during this production run, so later 2012 models are generally more reliable in this area. But when you're shopping, you must check for any signs of coolant or oil seeping around the base of the engine where the heads meet the block. If the gaskets have already been replaced with upgraded aftermarket units, that's actually a positive sign. It means the previous owner cared enough to fix it properly, and you'll never deal with it again. Second thing to watch, the CV boots. Because the all-wheel drive system is working constantly, the CV axle boots tend to wear faster than on a front-wheel drive vehicle. Check underneath for any cracked or torn rubber boots around the axle joints. If they're torn, dirt and moisture get in, the joint wears out, and suddenly you're hearing a clicking noise on every turn that sounds like your car is judging you. Easy to prevent, annoying to fix once it's gone too far. And third, listen for any valve train noise on cold startup. A brief ticking sound for the first few seconds is normal on these boxer engines. That's just the nature of the horizontally opposed layout. But if the ticking continues after the engine is warm, that could point to worn hydraulic lifters, and that's a negotiation point at the very least. Here's the bottom line though. A clean Subaru Forester from 2010 to 2012 with maintenance records and either fresh or recently replaced head gaskets is one of the smartest purchases anyone can make right now under $5,000. It's a true go-anywhere vehicle disguised as a sensible family hauler. Dealers can't charge much for them because they don't look flashy, but the people who own them, they never sell them willingly. They pass them down like family heirlooms, and that should tell you everything you need to know. But we're not done yet. There's still one more vehicle left on this list, and honestly, it might be the most controversial pick of all three. You're gonna want to hear this one.
Okay, so we've talked about the quiet overachiever and the mud-loving genius, but this last one? This is the one that might start an argument in the comments, and frankly, I'm here for it. Because our third and final bulletproof 4x4 under $5,000 is the vehicle that Toyota probably wishes they could still sell at full price forever, the 2006 to 2012 RAV4. And before you say that's just a mom car, I need you to sit down, take a deep breath, and ask yourself a very honest question. When was the last time something your mom recommended actually turned out to be wrong? Exactly. Moms know things, and so does Toyota. Now, let me tell you why this particular generation of the RAV4 is on this list instead of any other Toyota. See, in 2006, Toyota completely redesigned the RAV4 from the ground up. They made it bigger, they made it more powerful, and most importantly, they gave it something that changed everything, a V6 option. Yes, you heard that right. From 2006 to 2012, you could get a RAV4 with Toyota's legendary 3.5-liter 2GR FE V6 engine, producing 269 horsepower. Let me put that in context for you. That's more horsepower than a 2006 Mustang V6 had, in a compact SUV with available all-wheel drive for under $5,000 today. If that doesn't make you pause and reconsider every financial decision you've ever made, I don't know what will. But let's say you don't need all that power. And honestly, most people don't. The base 2.4-liter four-cylinder in the earlier models and the 2.5-liter in the 2009 and up facelift versions are absolute workhorses in their own right. The four-cylinder 2AZ FE and later the 2AR FE are engines that Toyota refined across millions of vehicles worldwide. These are powertrains that taxi drivers in cities you've never even heard of rely on to run 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for years on end without a hiccup. That's not marketing. That's field-tested, real-world, put your money where your mouth is durability. When a machine is trusted to be someone's entire livelihood in the harshest conditions on the planet, that tells you something no spec sheet ever could. The all-wheel drive system in this RAV4 is electronically managed and sends power to the rear axle through an electromagnetic coupling when the front wheels begin to slip. It's a simple, effective, and remarkably low-maintenance system. There are no complicated differentials to service, no transfer case to worry about, and no heavy drivetrain components eating into your fuel economy when you don't need them. In normal driving, you're essentially in front-wheel drive, sipping fuel politely. The moment conditions get slippery, the system wakes up, does its job, and goes back to sleep without you ever needing to press a button or flip a switch. It's the kind of engineering philosophy that Toyota has built its entire reputation on. Make it work perfectly, make it invisible, and make it last. Speaking of lasting, let's talk about something that sounds boring but matters more than almost anything else when you're buying a used vehicle: rust protection and build quality. Toyota overbuilt the body structure on this generation of RAV4 to a degree that's almost comical. The paint quality is solid, the undercoating holds up well even in salt-heavy climates, and the interior materials, while not luxurious by any stretch, are designed to resist wear in a way that puts vehicles twice its price to shame. I've seen 2006 RAV4s with over 200,000 miles where the interior still looks like someone actually takes care of it. And sometimes nobody did. It just survived on its own. That's not luck. That's Toyota knowing exactly what they're doing. Cargo space is generous, and the layout is practical in the most no-nonsense way possible. The rear seats fold flat easily, the load floor is low enough to make loading heavy items painless, and there's a tidiness to the cabin design that makes everything feel intuitive, even if you've never sat in one before. Oh, and here's a fun little detail that most people forget. The third-generation RAV4 was actually available with an optional third row of seats. Now, were those third-row seats designed for full-size adults? Absolutely not. Were they perfect for grandchildren, small passengers, or that one friend in the group who lost the coin flip? 100%. It's a quirky little bonus that adds unexpected versatility to an already versatile package. Fuel economy across the range is respectable. The four-cylinder models will get you around 22 in the city and 28 or so on the highway. The V6, unsurprisingly, drinks a bit more. Think 19 city and 27 highway. But for the amount of power and confidence it delivers, most owners consider that a fair trade. Either way, you're not going to feel punished at the pump. And when you factor in the near-zero maintenance costs over time, the total cost of ownership on this vehicle is genuinely hard to beat. All right, honesty time, because every car has its quirks, and the RAV4 is no exception. The single most important thing you need to check on any 2006 to 2008 RAV4 with the 2.4-liter four-cylinder is oil consumption. Some early examples of the 2AZ FE engine developed a condition where the piston rings don't seal perfectly, causing the engine to burn more oil than it should between changes. Toyota actually acknowledged this and extended warranties on affected vehicles, but most of those warranty periods have expired by now. So when you're test driving, check the oil level before and after your drive. If the dipstick is low and the seller says, "Oh, it just needs a top off," be cautious. A well-maintained example won't have this issue, but a neglected one can turn into a headache. The 2009 and later models with the updated 2.5-liter engine largely resolved this concern, so if it worries you, aim for the facelift years. Second, pay attention to the front struts and the rear suspension bushings. On higher mileage examples, worn struts can lead to a bouncy, unsettled ride, and deteriorated rear bushings will produce a dull, clunking sound over bumps. Neither issue is dangerous in the short term, but they are signs that the suspension is due for a refresh. Budget maybe $400 to $600 for a full strut replacement if needed, and factor that into your negotiation. And finally, give the brake system a thorough look. The RAV4 is not known for brake issues specifically, but because this vehicle is so reliable in every other way, owners tend to drive them forever and sometimes push the brakes well beyond their service interval. Warped rotors and worn pads are common on any high-mileage used car, but on a RAV4, people forget to check because everything else still works so perfectly. Don't let the rest of the car's excellence blind you to the basics. So here we are, 3 vehicles. 3 absolute legends hiding in plain sight on used car lots everywhere. The Honda CR-V, the Subaru Forester, and the Toyota RAV4. Each one under $5,000. Each one capable of running for hundreds of thousands of miles with basic care. Each one a vehicle that dealers would rather you overlook, because once you buy one, you're not coming back for a long, long time. These aren't flashy, they won't turn heads in a parking lot, but they'll start every single morning, carry everything you need, take you anywhere you want to go, and do it all without ever making you wonder if you made the right choice. And in a world full of overcomplicated, overpriced machines designed to empty your bank account, that kind of quiet, unshakable reliability isn't just rare, it's priceless.
If this video helped you, if even one of these picks made you think differently about what a smart car purchase looks like, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell because we do this every single week. We dig through the used car market so you don't have to, and we find the diamonds that everyone else walks right past. Drop a comment below and tell me which one of these 3 you'd pick. Or better yet, tell me if you already own one. I want to hear your war stories. Share this video with someone you know who's shopping for a car right now, because you might just save them thousands of dollars and years of frustration. And I'll see you in the next one.